All right, so this is my lighting arsenal for the 2017 season. Got quite a few fixtures here I'm going to talk about briefly. This is some of the lighting that I'll be using at multiple gigs that I'll be doing. The main ones, the primary ones, I have 4 InnoPocket scans. These are lightweight, small scanners from American DJ. They have a 12-watt LED built inside with an independent color and gobo wheel. There's not a separate color wheel and a separate gobo wheel, so each specific gobo is a specific color. That's a downside to it, but you know what? It's okay because the price of these are really good. They're very portable, and they create a very, very dynamic light show. They have a sound active off mode to where they just do a very, very slow scan across the room, perfect for slow dances. And then once you turn sound active mode on, they do all kinds of things. I think they have 20 built-in shows, something like that. I just put it on show 0 and let it cycle through all of them. They strobe, they do all kinds of things. Very, very dynamic light, so pick some of these up today. The other primary light that I use is a Chave Mini Kenta. Now, I will eventually be replacing this out for the Kenta FX. The Kenta FX not only has the derby effect, but it also has an SMD strobe effect on the top and the bottom, goes all the way across, and has a built-in cluster laser. So it's 3 effects in one. Very, very dynamic light show. I've already seen them in action. I'm just kind of taking my time getting them because I just purchased these as well. So these and the van emptied my bank account. These are great lights to have. They always get a lot of wow. And this particular model for $80, you cannot complain. Another light that I use is the Hemisphere 5.1 by Chave. Great centerpiece light to use here. I eventually want to get another one of these, so every now and then I can swap out the Kentas for a couple of these. They mount on O-clamps. There's a hole on the bottom that you can just screw the O-clamp to. Or I can use my Chave CH06s because it comes with this adapter on how it mounts the T-bars itself. It's basically a bolt that wing nuts in. And if you don't want to use the T-bar, you can use something like the Hemisphere and just mount it. Another light that I use often is my Icon Profile. This is a gobo projector. It can also be used as a spotlight. I mainly use it for gobo projecting. Custom gobos, I can order them online. There's about 60 designs that my clients can choose from. Or I can just use a stock gobo that came with this. I also have ordered other designs that are appropriate for weddings. And this mounts onto the CH06s just like this one does. It just kind of wing nuts in. Very versatile in that aspect. I did use these CH06s last night at a wedding. I wasn't real satisfied with them in the way of their stability performance. I had these 3 lights mounted to each one. I had 2 of them. If you go back and watch the last video, which is a gig log, you'll see that. They wobbled quite a bit, and not to the point where I was concerned if they were going to tip over or not, but they noticeably wobbled when the scanners would do fast movement. And scanners don't have a whole lot of movement with them if you've ever used scanners before. These mirrors, they're not like moving heads. I think a moving head probably would have tipped these things over. But I wasn't concerned about tipping or anything falling over. But I am concerned about the wobble. It just isn't very appealing to the eye, and that's why I think I'm going to just use these for the gobo projector and the Hemisphere if I do just this as a single centerpiece, which I will probably end up doing. It definitely does the job. I can mount all kinds of lights to this. This does allow a lot of options. I also have a pole adapter from Colorado Light and Sound, which is a great product. The only thing I don't like about it is when you slip it over the top of your LTS 50s and then you mount, say, a gobo projector to it, I like to wrap my extension cord around the tripod and then run it on the floor or against the wall wherever I'm at. That way it just kind of conceals it a little bit and gives it a very nice presentation. With the Colorado Light and Sound pole adapter, if you were to mount this and then wrap it, even that little bit of tension in the cord will move the fixture like this. So eventually I'm projecting a gobo over here, but I look a half hour later and it's pointed all the way in this direction at a wall that no one's looking at because it's in the corner. So I do like this mounting option better because I can increase the tension on the wing nut, and then that isn't going anywhere unless I physically move it. So still use my Colorado Light and Sound though, because I also have a dual gin pulse. It's actually at my brother-in-law's right now. I don't have it with me. If American DJ ever sees this video, please make a dual gin pulse 2. And have it to where it has master-slave capability. It's a great light. It's relatively inexpensive. It does Moonflower and an SMD strobe function. And it's very, very dynamic for all that it is in a very, very small package. What would have been the cherry on top is if they would have been master and slave capable. I'm a stickler when it comes to symmetry in my setup. That's why I use a facade. That's why I use the T-bars. I also have the LTS truss that goes with these stands, but I only use the trussing for schools. Anyway, if you're listening and watching, please make a dual gin pulse 2 with master and slave capability. Love you forever. I would definitely run out and purchase 2 today. Anyway, this is my lighting arsenal for the 2017 season. Now we're going to move on to some audio. Now in the way of audio, speaker-wise, I use the Electro Voice ZLX 12Ps. These are powered speakers, 1,000 watts piece. They have a great mid-bass, great high-end as well. So you get a very dynamic sound out of these without the use of subwoofers. And I have DJ'd for about 350 people using these speakers without the aid of subwoofers just fine, and actually got compliments on the sound quality and how well it carried. I had them up a little bit higher. I had it to where it was just about, the bottom of it was here, so it would carry over the crowd. Great speakers. You can pick these up for about $400 a piece. They're small, they're versatile, they're lightweight, and they have a great sound for a very, very small package. Controller, I use the DDJ SX. This is the first gen model, not the second gen model. For me, the second gen model didn't have enough in the way of new features that would make me, as a mobile DJ, want to buy it. If you were a club DJ, it had some pretty nifty things on there that you would have liked. But for me, this works perfect. This is the best-selling DJ controller of all time. It works native with Serato, but I use a Virtual DJ. Virtual DJ is just a little bit of an easier interface. It has the auto mix option now, which what that is, auto mix is basically where you can form a playlist. I like that because during dinner, I don't necessarily need to be behind this constantly going from one track to the other just for dinner music. So in auto mix, I can formulate a playlist and it plays it automatically and will merge songs, fade songs into each other without me having to be there. What that allows me to do is I can go out and work the room, I can talk to the bride and groom, I can talk to their guests, just introduce myself on a personal level instead of just getting on the mic and saying, my name is Travis, I'm with Vision Elite DJ Service, I'll be your master of ceremonies tonight. If you have any requests, let me know. I can actually go around each table and do that, which gives me a little bit more personable service on that level. What the controller is sitting on is the Magma controller stand. Now this holds the controller and the laptop. The laptop goes up on these rails right here. It's a very nice stand. It brings the controller at an elevation and at an angle that I do like. It makes it a little bit easier to read things when it's darker. And it's at a very comfortable altitude. You know, I can control everything without having to bend over, without having to, do this or whatever. It's just there. As much as I do like this stand, it's not very portable. It doesn't fold up. It's always in this configuration, and I have it set to where it's in the smallest configuration. So to counteract that, I'm going to leave this here at home and just use it for my other controllers and just have it as a toy so I can practice or whatever. I'm going to get the Odyssey case, the black label case for this controller. That way it's easier to transport. Also, I can leave my XLR cables plugged in. All I have to do is yank it through the bottom hole, plug them into the speakers, and I'm good to go. There's no more running cables. In the way of microphones, I use a pair of, let's see, what brand are these? Jim Sound wireless mics. They do the job. They don't cut out. When they do, it's usually because I'm outdoors in a huge setting. But I've had them about a football field away at a gig that I did in September where I was up on someone's deck in their backyard, and the head table had the microphones do speeches, and they never once cut out. So they do a great job. I still eventually want to get some higher quality microphones, like some JTSs or something like that. But that's later on down the road. Anyway, this is my sound arsenal. I also have a pair of Electro Voice Force passive speakers, a 15-inch. My brother-in-law currently has those. You keep hearing me say my brother-in-law has this, my brother-in-law has that. He's just getting into DJing. I'm kind of coaching him along the way. So he has an older system of mine. It's a Newmark Mixtrack Pro, the set of speakers, the amp that went with it. And he's got a couple of the old lighting things that I used to have. So he's got the old system. I'm using the newer system, and eventually, hopefully, I'll have another set of these, or even the 15-inch version of these. And he'll just come by and get whatever equipment he needs. He's getting into it in case that way I can double book myself. I can generate myself a little bit more profit. He gets to keep 75% of whatever I charge for that gig though. So it's kind of a sweet deal for him. He gets to show up, play the music, and then he gets to keep 75% of it. I only get a 25% cutback. The reason why that's great is because, a lot of DJs that work in multi-ops, they don't pay their DJs a lot. So there's not a lot of incentive for the DJ to do a really good job at that event. So if you use a national chain, I'm not going to mention any of them, but there are national chain DJ services out there. Their DJs are making maybe $80 off of your event, and that's not a lot of incentive to do a really good job. I won't put my prices out on video. If you want to check out my prices, you can go to my website, www.visionelite-dj.com. All my prices are listed there. I'm committed to open and honest pricing to where anyone can see that. That way I can show just how competitive I am with other DJs in the area. I'm not trying to slit anyone's throat. There's a lot of DJs out there that are charging a little less than me, a little bit more than me. So it's right in the mid-range where you'd expect a DJ to be. Anyway, so he has a secondary system. I'm kind of teaching him how to do all that stuff. But that is pretty much the equipment lineup for Vision Elite. I've also got, it's a 4-foot folding table. I'm eventually going to get a 6-foot table because I like having extra real estate. And then the facade that I use is homemade. It uses a white spandex on the front, and it's 4 panels. The panels are 24 inches wide by 48 inches tall, so 2 feet by 4 feet. There's 4 panels, so it's about 6 feet wide once the 2 are collapsed in enough to where it'll stand. I'm adding a 5th panel for next year, and another thing I'm doing is we're taking off the white lycra, and we're going to add smoked white acrylic, 1/2-inch acrylic. What that will do is when I'm lighting it, instead of being able to see the light source because of the stretched spandex, the acrylic will evenly distribute the light no matter where the light source is. So it'll almost look like there's a TV screen sitting in those projecting colors because the light will be so well evenly distributed. It will make the cost of my facade go up quite a bit because acrylic is not cheap, but I really, really feel as if it's the necessary thing to do for a much better presentation. I'm always looking for ways to improve the look of my system because that is the first impression of not necessarily a bride and groom. They already know what they're getting, but their guests. There's always a gig out in the crowd. So you always want to make a good first impression with all the guests that walk in. They don't want to look at your system and say, wow, that's really sloppy. They want to go, wow, I wonder how much they paid for this guy because I'd like to have him at my wedding or birthday or anniversary or company party or whatever. Anyway, that is the Vision Elite equipment lineup. If you have any questions, comment section down below. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Take it easy.